Hey, well, what's up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horne, and this is the NWA. It's the show celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest pro wrestling entity of all time. Of course, we're talking about the National Wrestling Alliance today, and it's a big day, fellas. Power Trip was this past weekend. We were all three there, and it was as the Joker says in Batman 1989, it was a hot time in the old town tonight. And
that's what you're coming in with? That's what you're coming in with?
You don't like Batman 89 with Michael Keaton? You're not a fan?
Man, I mean, I'm just saying there's about a million other quotes you could have picked, like, for example, like from The Road to Perdition. This is the life we chose, the life we lead, and there is only one guarantee. None of us will see heaven.
Whoa.
All right. Well, I
That's a little dark.
Felt like mine was more relevant, but we'll leave it there. Thanks to everybody. You're hearing the voices of Doc and Will. Hey, guys. It's good to have
evening.
You.
Good evening. Happy Monday. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. That's why this episode, I got to get back to the wife eventually because it's what I'm doing on my Valentine's Day.
Oh, heck, my wife doesn't even. My wife thinks I'm still at work. So I was like, "Look, baby, we got something going on. I got to work late tonight, you know."
There you go. Well, I want to say what up to everybody who's here, especially everybody watching. We love all of you, but the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. I see you, TC Dillard and John God, Scott, referee James Lawrence is here. Polka Dot Pam, Joseph, Deadpool's here of all people. So congrats for that. WWLTD and LJ. God, there's so many people, and thank you, LJ, for that. Love that. Love your profile picture and your message. That looks you look like a big deal in the world of professional wrestling. Thank you for being here tonight, and Willie, thank you for being here. More of a fan of Christian Bale, apparently. So I apologize that I brought up Michael Keaton's Batman.
He's right. No, he's right though. He's right. In fact, I often get mistaken for good Sir Christian Bale or David Grohl or Vinny from Doogie Howser.
Okay.
Christian Bale from Vice.
Guys, we're wasting time. I mean, what everybody wants to talk about, they want to talk about NWA Power, they want to talk about NWA USA, and they want to talk about Power Trip as much as we can talk about Power Trip. Now, we're not going to get into full spoilers for Power Trip because that's going to air for you guys as an episode of NWA Power, or 3 episodes, I think, over 3 episodes of NWA Power from my understanding. So we've got that to talk about. We've got the Crockett Cup to talk about. Lots of exciting things happening. And before we get there, let me just, if I can, let me just jump right into this one thing because we do have a special guest tonight, and this is the news that's on everybody's mind.
The winner of this match, and new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Matt Cardona.
I cannot say no enough.
I'm going to take NWA to new heights. I promise I'm going to save NWA. And most importantly, I promise to be the greatest NWA World Heavyweight Champion ever!
I have a contractual rematch that I never redeemed. So I'm here tonight to tell you flat out that your challenger is looking right at you. So don't get too comfortable with that 10 pounds of gold because it's coming home to the real world's champion.
So there's obviously big news right there. There's big news that Matt Cardona is, in fact, your new NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. The other side of that big news is that the man who's joining us right now confronted Mr. Cardona in the ring at the end of that show. And again, you'll be able to see all of this in full on NWA Power. So make sure you tune into that in the next few weeks. But well, I still, every time I throw to you, I want to say this, champ. Thanks for being here, Mr. Aldis.
You're welcome. And look, right off the bat, Gary, you're already sort of answering your own question in a sense, because you and a great deal of the people at the NWA, they do still refer to me as that, and I take a lot of pride in that because I understand what it means. And I will say this, for what it's worth, you know, it's a special day whenever somebody is able to write their name in the history books. And no matter how any of us may feel about it, Matt Cardona is now one of those men. But it does mean that finally there is one thing that I actually agree with Matt Cardona about, which is that now the NWA does in fact need saving.
So I happened to be backstage at the time all this was going on, and I saw you waiting around. You were watching the match very intently. And then, of course, during the celebration from Matt Cardona, there was a look about you. There was something going on in your brain, and you were pacing back and forth. And then eventually you just had everybody cue everything up, and you entered the ring. And I just have to note, like, I just saw it in your eyes. There was something going on. What exactly was your thought process as you see Trevor Murdoch pinned for the 3 count? Matt Cardona is the champion. Obviously, you've seen what's been going on with him in regards to Trevor, and then this is the outcome. I guess what's all happens in your brain leading up to that moment?
Well, what I realized more than anything else was the fact that I've let everybody down. That's the reality of the situation, because I managed to allow myself to get so caught up in this situation with Tom Latimer and allowed my emotions to sort of get the better of me and to take me on this whole other journey that I wasn't expecting to go on. And I should have been focused on what I'm here to do, which is to lead the NWA and to be on top as the world champion. And what witnessing Matt Cardona winning the world's championship, the same championship held by Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, the American Dream, you know, it suddenly, it all just came flooding in. And maybe some of it was the emotion of having just had this I Quit match with this bizarre ending and trying to figure out what all of this means. And just still the emotion. Anytime I step in the ring with Tom, it's just such an emotional situation anyway. But then it was like, well, I've really taken my eyes off the prize here, because there ain't no way Matt Cardona should have ever even got within a sniff of the world's championship. And I take a lot of responsibility in that myself, because Trevor Murdoch, as great a champion as he is and as tough a man as he is, his pride didn't allow him to see what was coming, which was that clearly Matt Cardona is a man who doesn't care how he wins the championship, doesn't care about anybody except himself. He's going to surround himself with stooges. He's basically everything that I hate about this business, right? Which is, you get these guys, you know, who they just seem to just get lucky, right? They get the breaks, they get the early opportunities. And here's a guy who was employed by the market leader, right? WWE for all these years. And now he comes out of there and he's acting like he's doing us a favor. He's acting like he's doing the wrestling world a favor. And it's just, it never ceases to astound me how guys who have been there can watch people build something from the ground up and then somehow try to sort of take credit for it after all the work is done. But hey, that's the business. The problem is that he didn't anticipate that he was going to come nose to nose with me. And I think Matt Cardona is a smart guy. I think he saw the lay of the land. I don't think it's any coincidence that he slipped into the NWA at the time that he did, after I was already knee deep in this situation with Tom Latimer. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. I think he had the whole thing planned out from day one, which is why I basically went and found Billy right away and said, hey, when I signed my new contract, remember what we talked about, which was I never got my rematch from St. Louis. I stepped away. I gave Trevor the opportunity to kind of take his own path with the belt, and I had my own stuff that I was dealing with. But I said, now's the time, and I ain't waiting anymore, because that championship is mine. And spiritually, I don't think it ever really left. But now we're in a real nut cutting situation. You know what I mean? Because now we really have to take care of business sooner rather than later, because this clown, and that's exactly what he is, a clown, can't be the NWA World's Champion.
There's an interesting thing about Matt Cardona as the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, and I know you're very busy. You're actually out going out with your lovely wife for Valentine's Day, and you took the time to talk to us, so we appreciate that. Hello, Mickie. It's so good to see you.
Hello, gentlemen. I appreciate you so much for taking the time on Valentine's Day to talk about such an important thing as the NWA World's Championship. We all know who the real World's Champion is, babe.
Ooh.
You ain't got to tell him.
My wife's actually waiting on me too, so she understands the importance of this.
Big reservations at the Cheesecake Factory tonight. No,
there you go.
My wife still thinks I'm at work. I had to sneak and do this episode.
I do have to. So where I was going with this is it's actually good that Mickey's there, because here in a second she plays into this just a little bit. Is that I guess on one hand, some people look at this as a positive, like a net positive, a gain for the National Wrestling Alliance. That Matt Cardona, who's so hot right now, he and Chelsea are like all over the place and doing all of these things. And so this is going to bring more eyeballs to the NWA. And you see his social media explode. He's over at GCW or AEW or any W you can think of. He's just like bouncing around. Is that not the way you feel about it, though?
It's not about how I feel about what he's doing outside of the NWA. Look, I've got absolutely no problem with interpromotional stuff. I mean, I was doing that stuff before they had a silly, weird name for it. Okay. What I take issue with is that this joker walks into the NWA after guys like myself, Tim Storm, and yes, even Trevor Murdoch laid the groundwork, and then come in and go, oh, let me help. Let me come and fix it. Let me come and do this. And insulted everybody who had made it even possible for him to get a payday from this promotion. But most importantly, insulted me. And look, I am not your hero. Yeah. I'm not trying to be everybody's friend, and I'm not trying too hard like Matt Cardona to make everybody like me because I'm on some kind of, hey, look at me tour because I'm trying to write a love letter to my ex in Stamford, Connecticut. That ain't me. I'm out for myself. At least the NWA fans know that about me. But the fact is that I respect the championship. And the reason that the championship is where it is today is because of the work I did and because of the way that I made everybody pay attention and pay respect to the men that held it before. He's not doing that. He's trying to turn it into a prop for this circus that he's running around doing. And as far as I'm concerned, March 20th, Nashville, Tennessee, this little Matt Cardona experiment comes to an end and the clown goes down and you'll never hear from him again. And gentlemen, I hate to cut it short, but the missus is right. We do have plans, and I'm afraid I need to be able to enjoy myself. And if I talk any more about Matt Cardona, I'm just going to blow a stack. So
I have to do this to you, Nick. 2 seconds. The most recent tweet from Matt Cardona just recently, just now.
Right, with the important stuff.
Oh my
Dear
God.
Mickie James and Real Nick Aldis, happy Valentine's Day. Love Chelsea and NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Matt Cardona.
But here's the thing that's so funny about this is that he said something to the effect of it's my turn now, it's you had your turn and blah blah blah. And yet now we're at what he's tweeted about me like what 5, 6, 7 times already. It sounds like I'm already living rent free in Matt Cardona's head. I mean, you were there, Gary. You guys were there. You were there in Oak Grove. You saw the look on his face when I told him that, hey, it's you and me next for that belt, buddy. Don't get too comfortable. He didn't like it. I already it's already 15 love. Okay, we're about 3 steps away from this whole thing being over and Matt Cardona being a little footnote in the history books of the NWA, and that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
All right, well, Nick Aldis, thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Mickie. Thank you guys. Enjoy your dinner.
Oh, I love you guys. I am a little bit concerned because you guys know how much I love Chow Chow, and I almost tweeted her back. Get your boy before I do, but
It's okay. They can have 5 weeks. I mean, they're on their honeymoon, but they've got 2 honeymoons because the honeymoon comes to an end March 20th in Nashville, Tennessee.
Well said. Crockett Cup. That is something to look forward to. You guys enjoy yourself tonight.
Oh,
hey,
now you can interview me. Hey.
Well, all right. So there you have it. The champ. Oh, the former champ. Gosh. See, that's how it inserted into the legacy Nick Aldis is. I still want to say champ every time. And
I think once champ, you're always a champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah. I told Trevor's
champ.
we were there. Yeah.
So I call Tim Storm champ. You know what I mean? They're all champs, so they deserve that title for the rest of their lives. Kind of like president, So.
Yeah, like I'm always going to be president.
Yeah.
And it always looks like you're drunk when you're looking at me. Anyway, thank you very much to Nick Aldis and Mickie James, the lovely Mickie James, hanging out with us. They're headed to dinner and took the time to visit with us and you great people who are out there watching in YouTube land. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And, the man just said it right there. Big stuff. March 19th and 20th, especially the 20th. The Crockett Cup is taking place in Nashville, Tennessee. Music City. What an awesome town for it to be in. And this is a big deal. So anyway, watch this for a second.
It's back. The NWA presents the return of the Crockett Cup Tag Team Tournament live on pay-per-view from the historic Nashville Fairgrounds Saturday, March 19th and Sunday, March 20th. No less than 20 teams, 2 nights, 1 massive event. Scheduled to appear are NWA World Tag Team Champions La Rebellion, the Briscoe Brothers, the British Invasion, Strictly Business, and many, many more. Tickets are on sale now at NWATix.com. That's NWATix.com.
All right. Well, the Crockett Cup is coming back, and I'm for one excited. I know you guys are too, not just for, we do have the world's title match now added to this, but also the huge tag team tournament that I think that ad may have even been wrong now. I think Billy Corgan is saying no less than 20 teams will be participating in some shape or form in this tournament. So that is something special right there, right?
Oh yeah. This is 2 days, 2 days long. It's so big that, can't fit into one night. You've got the tag team tournament, which obviously I'm excited about. I really can't wait to hear what other teams are going to be in there. We know of a couple of them so far. With Aldis going into the main event, I don't know where that leaves British Invasion. I guess we'll get some answers about that at some point, but that's going to be huge. But like you said, as if that wasn't enough, now we have a main event. And I think back to the last Crockett Cup in 2019 and that main event between Marty Scurll and Nick Aldis for the title, man, that was one of those like landmark monumental matches for me. And I think I told you guys this before. It was like, I felt like I was a kid again watching, the VHS that I got from Blockbuster of a pay-per-view event. And it's big. The Crockett Cup is big. It's historic, it's legendary, and it's keeps getting more and more, can't miss, must see. So I'm super excited about it.
Doc, I want to hear from you in just a second because I do want to get your thoughts, and I need to know where your head's at as far as Cardona as champion, what Nick just said, and all of that. I want to show this clip really quick because
NWA Power fans, joining me at this time, Matt Cardona, who last week we saw, obviously, if there's any question, if you just happened to be here, took advantage of a situation, and again, left Trevor Murdoch laying. I've got some bad news. And I hate to let the people down, but I just can't wrestle Trevor for the NWA World title. I can't do it. I can't do it because if I wrestle Trevor, then I have to win. And if I win, then I have to take that title. And if I take that title, well, then Trevor's going to do the same thing he did in 2018, and that's quit the business. Your champion is a quitter. Huh? Your champion is a quitter. What's the matter, Trevor? Did things get too hard? Huh? Was the business too hard on you, Trevor? Huh? What's the matter, Trevor? Did you not win all the matches that you hoped you would win, Trevor? What's the matter? Huh? Did you not get all the opportunities that you thought you deserved, Trevor? Well, join the goddamn club. Look at me. Look at me. There is nobody in this business, the history of this damn business, who has been counted out more times than me, but I've never quit. I always come back. You know what? You know what? Fighting Trevor is exactly what I have to do. Beating Trevor is exactly what I have to do. If I beat Trevor for the World's Heavyweight Championship, I will save the NWA. So that's what I'm gonna do. What do you say, huh? Think about it. Trevor Murdoch, always ready. Matt Cardona for the 10 pounds of gold. And when I beat you, Trevor, when I win the championship, Trevor, when I save the NWA, Trevor, please do us all a favor and quit the business again.
Well, so Doc, I'm going to throw right to you there. There's Matt Cardona just a week ago, almost exactly a week ago, spouting off about what it meant for him to face Trevor Murdoch. We know, of course, this weekend, although it hasn't aired, Matt Cardona did defeat Trevor Murdoch, is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Where is Doc Stinson's head at after all this time with Matt Cardona succeeding? And what does that mean for Nick Aldis and guys like Trevor Murdoch?
I mean, I was the one that was ready to give Matt Cardona a chance. I was the one that was in this position trying to defend some of the ridiculous things that he was saying, like how he was bored watching the NWA growing up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You were born in 1985. You don't remember watching the NWA. You're a phony. And, but he's a young guy and obviously likes pro wrestling, and he's a great athlete. And, I wanted to give him a chance and everything, but back it up to wrestling at the Chase, back it up to NWA 73. I've been sort of out in the wilderness here for a while since that date, since August of 2021, because I'm the one who has been saying consistently this whole time that the answer to the NWA, the one man who can represent the NWA as the credible lineal World's Heavyweight Championship, is the national treasure, Nick Aldis. He's the greatest champion of the modern era. And I will tell you this, Trevor Murdoch, that's to Trevor Murdoch's credit. Trevor Murdoch did something that is the hardest feat to accomplish in professional wrestling, and that is to cleanly pin Nick Aldis. He did it. He earned it. He did it respectfully. For 169 days, he was an honorable world's champion. He defeated Attila Khan. He defeated Mike Knox on 2 occasions. He defeated Gangrel. He defeated just about everybody he had to, and he should have beaten Matt Cardona if it weren't for the shenanigans of his stooges out there. But what I'm seeing right now tonight, I'm seeing something that I've really dreamt about since August. That I've really, my heart has been torn. My heart has been groaning. I'm seeing the Nick Aldis that I know, the Nick Aldis that I cheered on for 1,044 days, the one that I preached, the one that I spent so much of my own time away from my family, time away from my profession, trying to advocate for. Because in this sport, listen, we call it a reign. Why do we call it a reign? Because in statecraft, a reign signifies that you are at the top. You are the head of state. You are in monarchies. You're on the throne. You're the king or queen. And in the oldest sport in the world, the most majestic sport in the world, I think we all can realize, and I think most people realize, and what's going on in the chat right now, what's buzzing out there in the world right now, is an indication of the fact that we all know something that I've been saying this whole time for over 1,000 days, and that is that we are living in the time of the once and future king, and that is the national treasure, Nick Aldis. If the NWA needed saving, which evidently it does now, especially if you're looking at Twitter and looking at the ridiculous things that Matt Cardona is putting out about putting spinner plates on the belt or changing the strap to purple and this all kind of ridiculous stuff. The man who deserves, who rightfully owns, who is King Arthur. He is the king, the once and future king of this great promotion. And that is why right now I cannot wait until March the 20th to see a nail driven in the coffin of this clown who has been nothing but disrespectful to the NWA. And Nick Aldis, thank you. We cannot wait for you to assume that throne once again. In my book, you already have it.
It's so funny right now. You watch the screen and you see things like if you follow Matt Cardona on Twitter, you'll see a post like the one here. I respect the rich history of the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. These photos were taken exactly 16 years apart, and he has Christian Cage, the World's Heavyweight Champion of the NWA at the time, and then himself in this photo. And that's true. Christian Cage 16 years ago, on the day that Cardona won it, had also won the NWA World's title. So you get this and you're like, man, this is a guy who appreciates history and respects the legacy of the NWA. And then right after, he'll have a poll like this one go up where it says, what should I do to the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship? Purple strap or spinner plate? And that is interesting. Just to think of somebody even altering the 10 pounds of gold in any way.
And, flipping the bird, flipping the whole world the bird, saying, using the phrase GD, which I don't even utter and don't allow my kids to hear. I mean, he's crass. And listen, I'm not one that says you got to be out there and be goody two shoes and pander to fans and this and that. And I think we heard that from Nick tonight. He's not trying to be anybody's hero. He's trying to, he recognizes he lost sight of what was important. And that is the fact that if you're not closing, you're not doing anything. If you're not winning, you don't belong in the NWA. And we need him to be the world's heavyweight champion. Indeed, he is the real world's heavyweight champion.
Well, he certainly is the champion. I mean, he has the title. There's no doubting that. So it's going to be interesting to see where things go from here. You guys have you heard from Trevor Murdoch or heard anything about Trevor Murdoch? I mean, that guy, obviously we don't have any more footage than what you just saw earlier, but Trevor Murdoch, he was bleeding pretty profusely, and we actually saw him getting stitched up after the matchup, and he was not in a good spot. I can say that. Reached out for comment, but I haven't heard anything from him. So we do miss you, champ, and we respect you, and hope you're doing well out there. I know he took this loss hard, and he looked like he was in a bad spot.
And let's not remember. I mean, Nick pointed it out at Power Trip that he has not yet invoked his entitled rematch clause. Guess who else has an entitled rematch clause?
Yeah, that's true.
So trust me, Trevor Murdoch is an honorable champion. He did what really essentially nobody can do. Cody Rhodes did it once. Probably won't ever happen again. But Trevor Murdoch did it. We witnessed it. We were there under the most trying of conditions, with all the stress in the world, with Strictly Business sitting right there. Trevor Murdoch managed to pin the shoulders of the real world's heavyweight champion, the national treasure, Nick Aldis. Trevor Murdoch has an entitled match reclause too. We've not seen the last of Trevor Murdoch, guys.
Yeah, no, and it was painful to watch that clip just after what we witnessed, just a few nights ago, and to hear, Cardona kind of taunt him about quitting. I mean, what you need to know about Trevor Murdoch, he's a family man. He's he's the hardest working guy in the locker room. When he became the champion, and obviously no disrespect to Nick, he was champion for 1,044 days, and yes, we do need him to come get the belt back and save the NWA and bring it back to the history and legacy and tradition that we love about the NWA. But when Trevor became champ, he was an honorable champ and a noble champ, and he represented the NWA very well. And I have a feeling once you guys see this match from the other night, none of that mentality is going to change. And so I hope that the taunting from Matt is unfounded, and it's not the last we see of Trevor. And I hope that at some point down the road, he gets that rematch and gets another shot, because as an NWA fan, part of the hashtag NWA fam, I'm proud of Trevor. I'm proud to be associated with Trevor. I'm proud of the NWA for being led by Trevor for the past few months. And yeah, it's just tough, and we're in a tough spot where I go back to the build up to NWA 73 when they were talking about square peg in a round hole. That's kind of what this whole Matt Cardona thing feels like. I mean, I respect him as an athlete, as a professional wrestler, but the NWA doesn't need saving. The NWA is exactly how we like it. It is, reverent to history and legacy and tradition, and it's wrestling the way it's meant to be. And for him to come in and insinuate that he is somehow above all of that history, legacy, and tradition, and he's going to somehow alter the course of the NWA and make it better, that's the part that's offensive. And that's the part where it's my mentality is like, hey, you can go do the stuff in your other promotions that you want to work with, but that doesn't fit in and doesn't fly here with the NWA.
Yeah, Cardona's he's in for a big wake-up call when he comes in, and especially when he faces off against Nick Aldis. This is not going to be a cakewalk. Nobody who holds that World's Heavyweight Championship takes it lightly, and so he's not gonna have that option either, or as Nick would say, don't get used to it. And so another title that's on the line. I mean, if we want to move on from Cardona for a little bit, we can circle back to him. Of course, is the junior heavyweight title is up for grabs right now. The championship has returned. We three got a sneak peek of it on Saturday. We can't really show any pictures or anything, unfortunately, but it does exist. It is there. It is a unique title in a lot of ways. I'm sure Doc's going to have a lot to say about it when it makes its debut on screen. But right now, if you're watching NWA USA this past week, Colby Corino advances over Gary Horne, and he enters the finals. And now it is Austin Aries, Colby Corino, Darius Lockhart, and Homicide in a four-way match at the Crockett Cup, March the 20th, that NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship. This is a big match, fellas. Any early predictions or any thoughts?
This is so tough. I mean, it really is. I mean, we've said that all along. I mean, even looking at the opening round brackets, I mean, it was tough to make choices, and we've talked it through every single week. And I really do feel like, in a sense, that the best four competitors have made it to the finals. And if I was pressed to pick a favorite, I would probably go Colby Corino, just because of how hard he works and how I mean, he's really taken ownership of the NWA, and it's his home. And the other guys, they're here too, but I feel like Colby Corino just has more to lose, and so I think he'll come in probably a little more reckless and a little more motivated than these other three guys. But I mean, honestly, no outcome of this match would shock me.
I've said it from the beginning, and I stick with it now. I think Homicide is the most dangerous man in the junior heavyweight division. He's got his eyes specifically set on Austin Aries, who he has a little bit of history with. But I'm going to tell you right now, I would not bet against Homicide. That's my pick to win this whole thing, to be the next NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion.
There's Scott there in the chat saying Austin Aries may be tough to beat. I'm with Scott a little bit. It was nice to meet Scott too, by the way. He was at Powerrr Trip, and so very cool to get a chance to talk to him. And yeah, Scott, you may be onto something. Austin Aries has a lot of experience in it, and a lot of people think he, last week we had a backstage interview with him where he said a lot of people think I lost a step. Well, think again. I have not lost a step. I'm better than ever, and I'm better than anybody else in this tournament. In fact, he was on NWA USA this week with May Valentine.
Please welcome Austin Aries. Austin, I want to congratulate you on making it to the finals of the Junior Heavyweight Championship along with Homicide. But actually, talking to Homicide, he was really, really disrespectful towards you. And I want to know how you feel about that.
Well, first, let me congratulate you on still having your job here this week. You talked to Homicide. You actually could understand what he was saying. Homicide, listen, we've known each other a long time. You are a tough individual. They call you Homicide for a reason, but what you're not is you're not refined. You're a fighter. You're not a professional wrestler. I'm a professional wrestler. I'm the most decorated professional wrestler in this tournament. Hell, in this company. I would give you my list of accolades, but this is only a 30-minute show. So the fact of the matter is this, when it's all said and done, I'm going to decorate myself a little more with the Junior Heavyweight Championship, and there's nothing Homicide or anybody else is going to do about it.
So some strong words there from Austin Idol, and he is one of the men that are going to be up for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship title. Colby Carino, Darius Lockhart, and Homicide. So fellas, that's another match to look forward to, as if a tag team tournament wasn't enough, or as if the world's title match that we've got to look forward to wasn't enough. Then you've got this huge match for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I mean, looking back through history and I don't have my notes in front of me regarding if the Junior Heavyweight Championship has ever been defended before at the Crockett Cup. It wouldn't surprise me if it have, but I go back to those days of the Cup, and I think of guys like Denny Brown and Nelson Royal, the Junior Heavyweight champions that were active during the Crockett promotion days. And I look at these guys, this list, those four stand head and shoulders right there with any of those names. And so whatever happens, whether it be Homicide, Austin Aries, Colby Carino, or Darius Lockhart, all four of these men are worthy. They've blazed a very, very difficult trail to get to this point, and now it's any man's game. I will tell you, as a traditionalist, I know referee James Lawrence is in the chat. He'll tell you too. I'm not a big fan of these kinds of matches. He mentions Lasertron there. Also, the great Hector Guerrero, one of another great junior heavyweight. But I'm not a huge fan of these kinds of matches and titles coming down to this. But if it's got to be, it's got to be. And I can't think of four more deserving men to do this, and they're going to make the Crockett Cup an important historic event. Like Gary said, if it, not to mention the tournament, let's not forget we've got a tag team tournament going on, and we've got the World's Heavyweight Championship being defended. History is going to be made. The NWA World's Junior Heavyweight Championship is back. Those of you who know your NWA history know that in the Rules of Nine, when the NWA was formally refounded in the hotel president in Waterloo, Iowa in 1948, it was written in the bylaws that there would be two championships to represent the NWA. One was the World's Heavyweight Champion, and the other was the Junior Heavyweight Champion. That, of course, was Ken Fenelon, who was named the first, but this is going to be a great match.
All right. Well, the other thing that I keep seeing pop up in the chat, just for what it's worth, is people keep asking about Pope. Pope is getting brought up a lot. Where is Pope? What is Pope doing? Well, if you watched Powerrr this past week, Pope made his triumphant return, and he had a lot on his mind.
Pope, you hear the fans? It's been weeks since we've seen you. We all heard about the injury. We were all pulling for you, and I have to say,
I am happy to see you walking out here to be right behind this podium with me right now.
Kyle, it's not easy being out here right now, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But the first thing I want to do is I want to thank the fans. I want to thank everybody around the world. I want to thank them for their thoughts and their prayers, because uncertainty was placed on Pope at hard times. Now, I want to be clear. Uncertainty wasn't just placed upon Pope at hard times. Uncertainty was placed upon the NWA. Uncertainty was placed on the 10 pounds of gold, but we'll get to that soon enough. But just to be clear, uncertainty is when you wake up in a foreign land. You got hands all over your body. You got voices all around your head. Your eyes are wide open, but you see nothing. That's uncertainty. Uncertainty is when you're strapped to a backboard, you're loaded in the ambulance, you're placed in the hospital bed, you don't know when you're going to leave. That's uncertainty. Uncertainty is when your mama, your brother, your boss named Billy, the boys and the girls in the back, they're ringing your phone like hell, and you can't give them an answer. Daddy, that's uncertainty. But there's one thing that is certain, and that's the fact that two no-gooders, if you will, found it fun to come out here and laugh at the expense of Pope, laugh at the uncertainty that surrounded Pope. Let me be clear, there was no fun in it. It wasn't fun. You think Velvet Sky holding my leg, crying in my feet, you think that's fun? Hell no, it wasn't fun. You think Tim Storm standing by my side, Daddy, praying like a saint for Pope to come through. It was no fun at all. And all of the boys and the girls that stood hours to see Pope through, Daddy, that's no fun. But let me address this and let me bring this whole thing full circle. One thing that Pope's going to always do, that is defend the honor, that's defend the integrity of the National Wrestling Alliance, Daddy. That's why Pope came out. That's why Pope stood beside Trevor Murdoch, because Trevor Murdoch, he represents what Pope stands for, Daddy. Trevor Murdoch represents tradition, and I'll stand by that brother any day and on any given Sunday. Now then, it appears that at some point, at some time, Matt Cardona, Pope's going to have to reach down and pull you out of some mud show and slap some tradition back into you, my friend. And then Mike Knotts, make no mistake about it, Pope's a knocking at your door, Daddy, and I don't know when, and I don't know where. I understand there's a certain shift happening around here. There's a certain shift happening around here where Pope ain't too old for this shift if you get Pope's drift. And I want you to understand, Daddy, I want you to know, and I want to be very clear, no more darkness, no more midnight. Daybreak is coming. Come by will, I'll drag you if I may, but just understand, Daddy, payday is on the way.
Pope getting them this past week on NWA Power. Am I right? Wow.
We just had some church.
Oh.
Man, he's so I mean, obviously, and we see it in the chat there. You guys all he invokes so much when he speaks. We've seen it before. We saw it during UWN Primetime Live, that great talk he gave before he won the TV championship. I cannot, I will not, I shall not be moved. And he invokes so many great legends of the NWA. Obviously, Dusty Rhodes, this homage to the Hard Times promo that Dusty Rhodes put out back in 1986. Just amazing. And someone said it. I saw it there in the chat after, I can't remember who, after Aldis wins this championship, and that's a mathematical certainty, you got to imagine that next in line for that shot is going to be Pope.
Well, he's got a title shot. You know,
he does.
He was part of the Champions Series winning team, and so he's got it. And that was a topic of conversation when after Trevor became champion, and when, where, and he talked about the uncertainty there and what we just heard. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna use that title shot when he needs to, and you got to imagine now with the title situation, he's probably itching for it.
Yeah, most certainly. And of course, he talked about in that promo on Power that he didn't know when and didn't know where, but he was going to take on Mike Knox as well. Well, we do know when and where, and that was that Power trip. And you're going to be able to see that on an upcoming episode of NWA Power. In fact, this is a better time than right now to go ahead and tell you that if you want to watch NWA Power, it's free on YouTube on Fridays, 6:05. You can watch NWA USA on Saturdays at 6:05. But if you want to see it first, you want to not be left behind, there's no better way to do it than with NWA All Access, and especially this $49.99 annual subscription. Every NWA pay-per-view is included in this deal. So you want to talk about something huge? Well, we know something huge that's coming up. Crockett Cup is happening. NWA World's Heavyweight Championship match. Nick Aldis versus our new world champion, Matt Cardona. This is happening on March 19th and 20th. Nashville, Tennessee. You can't ask for a better weekend than that to go hang out in Music City and watch the Crockett Cup, see some of the best tag teams from all over the world compete against each other, and this awesome championship match. You can go to NWATix.com and you can get your tickets and go see it live. But if you can't be there in Nashville, there's nothing better for you to do than go ahead and sign up for this $49.99 annual subscription to NWA All Access through Fight TV, because you're going to get both nights of that pay-per-view. You get Power the first time it airs on Tuesday night. More Fight exclusive content is coming. In fact, we were a part of several meetings this weekend just to hear some of the ideas that are being pitched out there. There is more NWA cooking right now. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I'm going to go look at some stuff for some new programming. So this is exciting. An exciting time to be a fan of the National Wrestling Alliance. NWA All Access is what you want to do. There's no better deal than that. I signed up for it personally. I'm here. I'm on the NWA's YouTube channel, and I signed up for NWA All Access because I can't miss out on any of the great content the NWA is producing. And for $49.99 for a year, and you get every single pay-per-view, there is no other company, no other wrestling that's offering you a better deal than that. I promise you. That's what you want to do. There's some good stuff coming, and the first step in that is I guess Power Trip, but really Crockett Cup is coming up right around the corner. You can pay for the pay-per-view, sure. I mean, I'm sure everybody be welcoming that option, but $49.99 and you just get all of them. You know you're going to want to see them anyway. Why not? And Carl says there in the chat, it pays for itself almost. It definitely does, Carl. I think it does. Oh, and I love Scott here. I wasn't going to Crockett Cup, but I'm really starting to rethink that. You should It's going to be a hot time in the old town tonight. I brought that back from the beginning of the show.
Full circle.
Yeah, there you go. That's a callback. Spider Rat mentioning the back catalog makes it pay for itself. There you go. You get all. I didn't even mention that, did I? Then you get access to everything that's come before. So, man, this is good. Doc, I want you to see the original Dizzy D here in the chat. Doc is back. Doc is back again. Yes, he's back. He's back again. He missed you last week. He would not. Dizzy D would not shut up about you.
That's my brother right there. That's my brother. Much love, Dizzy D. The original Dizzy D. There's a bunch of posing marks out there that aren't the original. That's the original.
Yep.
Oh, let's celebrate the Ashen Knight. I Teacher. Signed up for all access today. That is awesome. And yes, Psycho Blue Crockett Cup sounds hype. It's going to be hype, man. It's going to be lit and fire and rad and all the other things the kids say these days. But anyway, you got to do that. You got to check out NWA All Access. Another thing I want to mention before we're out of here for sure is NationalWrestlingAlliance.com/shop. Last week's host, Danny Deals, will sue the show if I don't mention the NWA shop. Some great stuff there for me, especially that hoodie. It is gorgeous, and I love that thing. The Legacy and Tradition hoodie. But how about that 605, that TV logo shirt there? That's a lot of fun. And I think the most popular one right now might be that NWA USA. People love those colors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But make sure you check that out. NationalWrestlingAlliance.com/shop. Get all your NWA merch that you can wear to the Crockett Cup.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. I got to get some more so that Gary and I don't wear the same shirt.
No, look at that.
It's embarrassing.
It's not really that embarrassing. I mean,
Ooh.
I always sing when I get nervous. Every now and then I think a little mistake.
We want to say shout out to Kinsey Page per Carl here on NWA USA. She took on Natalia Markova. If you guys haven't seen NWA USA, go back and watch that. It's available right here on the YouTube channel. Powerr's available, and of course, 6:05 on Tuesday night. If you got Fight TV tomorrow night,
that's tomorrow.
More NWA Power coming right up. The conclusion of Team War. How about that? We didn't even, so much is going on right now. We didn't even get to talk about Team War, really. Like all of these teams competing against each other. And the conclusion of that, I believe we got Strictly Business and El Rudo taking on The End and Rodney Mack. How about that for a matchup?
Man, $30,000 up for grabs.
Yeah,
$30,000 is 30,000 pounds. Combined in that match.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I thought you were trying to do the conversion. Yeah, it's not. It's not 1-to-1.
There you go. Psycho Blue. One of his favorite parts of NWA is that you can sing the entrance music. See, I get. No, he's talking about like on Powerrr. There's not entrance music. I think. Yeah, I think that was the point. But after this week, the Power Trip episodes are going to launch, and those do have entrance music. It's only in the studio. There's no entrance music. So, spoiler alert, there's going to be entrance music at the Power Trip stuff. And that's going to be an awesome set of tapings. And I see you there, TC, asking about the Hex. Tomorrow night, stay tuned. You might see the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions. So you want to take a look
we're not saying you will, and we're not saying you won't, but we're especially not saying you won't.
That's it. So yeah, I like it. And Tim Drake wants Chelsea Green as the NWA Women's Champion. Well, she's got to beat Camille to do that, and
she had a shot.
She tried. I was about to say,
she won the cup. She won the cup, man. She won the Invitational Cup.
Yeah,
so that should count for
something. She didn't close. She didn't close though, because she had a shot the next night.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Chelsea.
I mean, that's like your opinion.
I mean,
Okay.
it did happen.
Okay.
Psycho Blue
we were
in the
there.
chat still looking for more Doc Stinson songs. So,
Okay.
oh man, you don't want to ask for that. I heard.
Yeah, go give us a follow over at youtube.com/This Is Pro Wrestling. Maybe Doc will post some karaoke.
Yeah, he's got lots of songs he sings as kids, and they are awesome. So, not gonna lie, you want to check those out. But anyway,
Pollywog. All right, let's go.
Scott hoping for Genocide versus Camille. Scott, I mean, I'll tell you what.
Hey.
I mean, Camille or Genocide has a title shot in the bag. Like nobody mentions
we were just
that right
talking
now.
about the three of us yesterday or something. Well, yeah, yesterday. I forgot we were together yesterday. Yeah, Genocide is the one, man. She's right now. We saw Kiera Hogan, who had that number one contendership. She lost. So presumably, I mean, obviously, you got Melina, who is the self-proclaimed permanent number one contender. But at some point, you got to factor in Kylie Ray and Genocide. When are they going to get their crack? And I'm with you, Scott. Genocide, to me, presumably, if there's anybody that's going to be able to match Camille power for power, if anybody can, it's going to be the Cyborg.
I mean, follow Genocide if you don't already on Instagram, and just watch Genocide go to work, because she is always training and doing it by, I don't know, hanging upside down and getting punched in the stomach by some dude with boxing gloves on. That's like Genocide. She ain't no joke. I mean, we finally came to that conclusion that you want a real threat like Genocide and Camille. I don't think the studio can hold that one. That feels like pay-per-view quality. So maybe we'll see it down the line here.
I don't
knock.
Maybe
Hey,
the
knock.
Nashville Fairgrounds could hold it. Maybe.
Who's there, Doc?
Genocide.
Genocide who?
Genocide ain't no joke.
I hate that.
All right, everyone.
I wrote
Thanks
her
for
in. Literally
joining
wrote
us.
her into
Thanks,
a
Matt
joke.
and
It's
Willie
not a
and
joke.
Carl and James Lawrence and Al and Dizzy D. Thanks, guys.
Al's wondering where we get the Doc Stinson NWA action figure, so other action figures can beat him up like in real life.
Well, it's gonna come with the Gary Horne action figure that sort of like with one push of the button just vanishes.
He runs. It's like you wind him up next to Doc, and with the Scion action figure,
you see Gary like.
Yeah, it's got repelling magnets in it with the Scion figure, where if Scion's close, Gary's just gone.
Yeah. Well, that's why his head's going to be bigger, because he's smarter. He's a Funko Pop. That's because it holds that big brain. It's just intelligence. That's what that is. Willie wants to see Natalia Markova versus Camille. That'd be a hard hitting match. I tell you what.
I think that's inevitable too. I mean, you think. Gosh, man! Again, I seem like we're always saying this about the tag team division, but then you think about like the women's division. You talking about a women's division right now with the tag team champions Marty Vale and former holder of the Burke, the actual first holder of the Burke, Sienna. You know what I'm saying? Allison Kay at Sienna. I'm trying to plug her social medias.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Kylie Ray, Genocide, Natalia Markova, Tootie Lynn,
Kinsey Page,
Chelsea Green. I mean,
look out.
Yeah.
The beauty part that we always love about the National Wrestling Alliance is that anybody, anytime, anywhere can come through that curtain at the studio or the fairgrounds in Nashville. Crockett Cup, 19th and 20th. Get NWA All Access and watch that thing if you can't be there live. And if you can be there live, why haven't you gone to NWATix.com and bought your tickets? That's what you want to do. Get on that. Get on that right now. Come on. And anyway, all right. Well, I guess we're done for today. Thank you guys for being here so much. Every single one of you. Hitman 420 mentioned Melina. Doc, did you leave out Melina? How dare you?
I already said it earlier.
Okay.
She was the permanent number one contender. So
Marlon's got his tickets. Good boy. Good boy. Al wants to put Doc Stinson in a dress.
Again?
You'll need I was going to say, you'll need an action figure for that. Polka Dot Pam got her tickets. She's going. Yeah, come on, man. Gotta get on that. NWATix.com, Crockett Cup. It's only going to get bigger from here. Listen, we already told you. Nick Aldis, Matt Cardona, that's taking place. Here's the other weird part. We didn't even get a chance because he was so busy. That was officially announced for the Crockett Cup. What does that mean for the British invasion?
Yeah.
What happens there?
I don't know.
Maybe the champ's pulling double duty.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of strategy that is, but if he's feeling extra confident, maybe he'll do that. But forgot to ask him about that, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, gonna be wild. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We really do appreciate it. It's always good to see our friends and hashtag NWA fam in the chat. Thanks for being so
blessed.
engaged. Yeah, hashtag blessed. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day. And until next time.
Hey, y'all tonight, I want y'all to enjoy a special Valentine's Day red velvet